Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about. All right, you're looking live at Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk, joined with B Bird, and we're back with another one. And we're doing our post game Dallas Cowboys versus Panthers post game show, and just giving you all a little breakdown or a little view into what we're thinking and giving you our side of things. And that's what we're here to do today. It's a doom and gloom Sunday for me. So y'all want to say what's up to everybody, and then I'll jump it off after y'all say what's up to everybody.
Yeah, hey, this is B Bird Cowboy. Just telling everybody what's up. We on just kind of, I guess, a little vent session, but we're also going to talk over some things and where we can go in the future. Appreciate y'all coming in. If y'all not catching it live, then on a replay. So yeah, just sit back and hopefully y'all gain something from this.
Yep,
Yeah.
and the same with me. We're just gonna recap a little bit of a tough loss, so we just kind of gotta go through, what we need to do to improve and get better as a team. So, B Bird, we'll let you go ahead and just jump it off your observations of the game.
Well, I found myself telling my wife while we was watching the game, and I said, "Baby, I don't know if I've seen a defense this bad before." And it's as though they didn't even care. I mean, to come and play. And we could talk about schemes because that's an issue. But people say, what's the issue? Players? Is it scheme? Is it want to? And my answer to all those is yes. It's all of them, man. It really is. And as much as the offense has been doing well on the other side, man, we got so we got a +1 offense, a -1 defense, +1 -1 equals 0. That's where we are as a team right now. And man, I think we really messed up a good opportunity, man, to get a little bit closer to Philadelphia. I mean, we have Carolina, they're upstart team, but they have a new quarterback. I felt like if we went in and played our game, and I thought the defense was growing a little bit from the Jets game, but maybe it was just the Jets. But I don't know, man. I'll tell you the first thing. I know me and Cowboy Joe differs on this, and that's okay. I just think that I think in Dallas Cowboy land we overvalue our players anyway. But I think you go individually to all our players, and even before the season starts, and you say, okay, who do we have here that are bona fide Pro Bowl, All Pro players? And to me, the list of them is I don't know. You may find some questionable ones, but you're not going to find oh yes, he's a Hall of Fame. He's a Pro Bowl, All Pro player. So I just don't think we had a talent on defense that we need, and we need to invest more. And that goes back to the front office. But that's my take on that.
Yeah, and no, I adopted I adopted that from you. When you said that, I've been saying that ever since you said that. You said that when you look at the offense and you look at the defense, you look at the offense and we got all these first round picks, and then you look at the defense and you don't have any. And then you traded the one that you
Yeah.
had. And so I've looked at that and I'm like, you know what, that is just, the bottom line is that's what it is. And then when you look at what players start with other teams, Dak would start for the Eagles. He's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. You can even make an argument that CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are better than AJ Brown and Devontae. You can make that
Yeah.
argument. You can make the argument that Ferguson is better than whoever their tight end is. You can make the argument that Tyler Smith is better than their guard. You can make he's an all pro. You can even say that, our center and our we have a great offensive line when they're all healthy. So you can say that we can't say that he's better than that Javonte is better than Saquon, but this year, he's way ahead of Saquon. So
Yeah.
I mean, but then you go to the defensive side and you cannot do that for a single player. Maybe Kenny Clark, but
Yeah.
outside of Kenny Clark, you can't say that for anyone. I mean, Trayvon and Bland, they're not the same cornerbacks that they were before
No,
pre-injury.
no.
And then you have aging safeties, and they don't play a, they don't. And then just all of that, plus the bad linebacker play. But then you add on top of that, you add all that together, and then on top of that, you put them in a scheme that they're not familiar with, and you put them in a bad scheme. You give them bad coaching. You know, over the last 4 or 5 years, this team has drafted, the Dan Quinn scheme or whatever. These were all man players. They played predominantly man defense. And they couldn't stop the run either. But they also, were a pass rushing team that forced quarterbacks to throw interceptions, and so you couldn't stop the run. But you had a player that could end the game and that can affect the game. One of my things that I always say, and I know I'm a little long winded.
Not
One
a
of the
problem.
things, one of the things that I always say is that the one thing I notice with every NFL team that is like always in the championships and always winning Super Bowls is they have the arguably the best player at a position on both sides of the field. It's always like that to me. Like for instance, like Chris Jones, he's the when the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, he is the best defensive tackle probably in the game. And
Absolutely.
when you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side, and then when you look at uh the Rams when they went, Aaron Donald was the best defensive tackle. Probably he was the best at his position that year for sure. And then on the other side of the ball, they had it together. They had playmakers on that side of the ball. Then so each year it's always somebody that's the best at their position on either side of the ball. And we had that when we had Micah, but we don't have that on defense at all. And then
Yeah.
like I said, the coaching, you got guys that have this defense has been built to play man coverage. And again, today you have this stubborn, pig-headed defensive coordinator that is still has Donovan Wilson over the top, and they get gashed and they score points. It's not like he can hide it. It's just like, no, you put Donovan Wilson in single man high, and they're going to score a touchdown. This is literally what's happening. And then um, you have your cornerbacks that are man cover corners that broke records for interceptions because they were playing man coverage and they had a good defensive pass rush. And you put them in zone 85% of the game, and they're lining up 10 yards off the ball on 3rd and 5. And they not rush. They rush on 2nd and 10, make it 2nd and 20. I mean make it 3rd and 20, and then on 3rd and 20 they go in the zone and the offense gets 25 yards. So
Yeah.
it's just bad coaching and not good enough
So,
players on defense.
so I'm kind of in the middle of both of you guys, and so offensively, I think we had a players, no doubt, that can be a playoff team. But what Jerry and Steven do, they do Jerry and Steven things. So, and Bland and Diggs, they're not the same. That's obvious. But I think they should mix it up. If you don't feel comfortable playing them in man a lot, then just play some zone and play man. But when it's 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, you can't have them 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. You just can't. But that being said, this is what Steven and Jerry do. We got 30 years of evidence. What they do is they don't know how to build a complete team. They're
No.
gonna build an offense that scores points. B Bird, you said it repeatedly. They sell tickets, but the other side of the ball, they're gonna hang around the rim and they're gonna
Yeah.
not do what they gotta do. So whether it's players, coaches, they just do not know how to build a complete team, and that's what you're
No.
seeing once again, B Bird.
Yeah. I definitely think you're right. Somebody told me this a long time ago, man. It was really enlightening to me. They said, "Why does Alabama football win and say UCLA doesn't?" Right? And it says they care more, and the care more isn't like caring in their heart. No, they pay more. So what they pointed out to me was that the offensive coordinator for Alabama at the time, and I can't remember who it was, makes as much as the head coach of UCLA. And he said, when you care, you put money behind it. You put draft picks behind it in the NFL. You put resources behind something if you care about it. So let's just take this: Alabama versus Duke in football. If they played 10 times, how many times do you think Alabama wins?
Oh,
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Okay. Watch this: Alabama Duke basketball. Pretty much the opposite, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Because Duke cares about, they put resources and they put everything behind their basketball team. And that's why they're better. Alabama don't really care about basketball like that. They're a byproduct. Likewise, if you switch that up, they care a lot about football. Duke don't really care that much about football. So what I'm trying to tell you is that look where they put, so we talked about it before. The Cowboys got 5 first rounders on offense right now. And they got a franchise quarterback, right? And they just paid the tight end. And their right tackle, who's not one of those 5, is a high-paid right tackle. They put their resources behind the offense. Let's take the defense, for instance. They have no first rounders on defense right now, with Mozzie not even being active. And so the offensive coordinator and the line coach are 2 of the best guys that was out there, and they had to go pry those guys away, man. You know what I'm saying, from other teams. They just picked up the defensive guys from the corner store. They's going to get something to drink, and defensive coordinator was out there with a 10 cup, getting money in, and they said, "Hey, can you give me $5?" He said, "No, I can give you a job." I gave him a job as the defensive coordinator. So what I'm trying to say is, man, what you put your efforts and stuff in, and what you put your energy in, what you put your resources in, is going to grow. What you don't put it in is going to falter. They don't put resources into their defense, man. It's because, again, they rather lose. Now, mind you, they rather lose 17. They rather win. Oh, you know what they rather lose? They rather lose 30-27 than lose 13-10. And that's what they're trying to do, because offense sells tickets, right? And all these stats and all these other kind of things. But defense is where we've been short at. Let's think about this. Over the last 10 years, let's just take Dak, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we had a top 5 offense? I mean, and we don't know this on paper, but how many times you figure we had a top 5 offense?
We had a top 5 offense every year that Kellen was here, and we had one. We had top 5 offense 2 of the 3 years that
Most of the
McCarthy was here.
time.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah, and so we went through coaches, and we still got a top 5 offense, we can say. How many times have we had a top 10 defense?
I don't think we have.
We have not had a top 10 defense. You look at Kansas City, man, and some of those Super Bowls, it's just a game. But some of those Super Bowls, especially that one against San Francisco, man, Mahomes had a terrible first half.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And that defense was the thing that kept them in it, man.
Spagnuolo.
They were stopping the run. And Frisco loves to run the ball down your throat. They were trying to run the ball down their throat. KC was not letting it happen. The thing about the Cowboys' formula to win right now, man, is that Dak has to damn near be perfect. I mean, it gives him no. And we're talking about, it's times where the GOAT Tom Brady. Hey, you remember that first? Well, excuse me, not the first Rams, but when they beat the Rams the second time, I think the score was like 13-6 or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady didn't go off in that game. The defense won that game for him. And so sometimes you're going to need your defense throughout the year. We cannot depend on this defense at all. Because the thing is you know what sells jerseys, man? 3s, 88s, and 4s, and 87s, man. And that's what they put their money into. They don't put and look at the defense. Look who they got their money in on defense. The cornerbacks. Those jerseys sell too. And so that's where they put their money at, man. They don't put their money into the 68s and the 74s and the 95s and stuff like that. And
linebackers or safety.
Yeah, linebackers and all that kind of stuff. They don't care. When have we had? I'm asking y'all a question. When have we had a Pro Bowl safety, or a Pro Bowl to All Pro safety?
I don't think we've had one in 30 years. Now I have to do the research, but I'm willing to bet we haven't had one in 30 years.
Yeah.
Roy Williams?
Roy Williams, he might have made the Pro Bowl, but how long ago was that?
That had to be 20 something years ago.
25
Yeah.
years, yeah, at least
Yeah, I
25.
mean it's
And and then you even go linebackers, man. When have we had, a guy that was just a standout linebacker? I think we had some. I think Smith may have, or Van Der Esch may have gotten a Pro Bowl his first and second year, or something like that. A first year maybe.
and
But it's just
Uh,
Bobby Wagner wanted to come here and they didn't want him.
they didn't want him, and I knew that was the case too. And I never understood why. The thing is, he only made $500,000 more than LVE, but they
Yeah.
wanted LVE.
and then and then we figured out that it wasn't Dan Quinn that didn't want him; it was the
Yeah.
front office because the moment that Dan Quinn left, he got Bobby Wagner.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. I've always thought that, and people was telling me, well, Dan Quinn didn't want, man. Dan Quinn had too much relationship with him. Dan Quinn did not want to play a safety or linebacker, man. I knew that, and then it came out, and it was just true. And I was saying, how do you guys? I was thinking about some other content creators. How do you guys think that this guy don't want this Pro Bowl linebacker that knows the system that he's won with? That makes no sense to me. And so, to me, man, this defense to me, it doesn't have the resources, and it shows up as a schematic thing. We just don't have the players, man. I mean, we name player by player, and we go to San Francisco's defense, or we even go to Philadelphia defense. I don't think we have but one, maybe two players that could start for Philadelphia's defense.
But see, this is my thing though. This is why I kind of push back on my dad a little bit, or anybody that's saying that. Well, I mean, that is true. What you're saying is absolutely true. But it's like you can have that type of situation, and if you have a good coach, he can kind of blemish that a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just like, just think about it.
But yeah,
What happens if what happens if Donovan Wilson is not playing single high safety at all? How many of those big plays just don't happen because he's just not playing single high safety? How many times? What happens if Jack Sanborn for the first 4 games just was not on the field? It was just somebody else. How many yards does he account for on blown assignments? How many touchdowns will we have if it was just not our single high safety, or how many 3rd and 5s would 3rd and 10s would they convert if they just was not lining 8 to 9 yards up off the ball? I mean, how different does this team look if those little things like that are just not done?
Point. But that's the point. And I'm gonna let B Bird talk. But that's the whole point. We're both, all three of us are right. But here's the thing that makes Dallas different. The issues you have with Donovan Wilson, Sanborn, the issues that B Bird has with not getting high caliber talent. The 49ers, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Ravens, they're losing this year. That's not the way they run their team. They run their team. They try to build both sides of the ball with the best players they can get, and then they pay the best coaches. So what happens is if you don't do that, what it means is B Bird is right with what he's saying. You're right with what you're saying, and the problem is the front office. This is
Yeah.
what they do.
And then I'm gonna let B Bird go too, but I just want to spotlight that because I've been saying this forever, and I just felt, I'm gonna just stick with it because this is real. Whatever is obvious that the Joneses and the front office have their hands in, that is the downside and the downfall of this team year in and year out. So last year, what would most of the Cowboy fans say that the downfall of the team was besides injury? It was the fact that they did absolutely nothing in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
That's a front office thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so the year before that, if we, the year that we got Mozzie and Schoon, the failures for that year, whatever year that was, a lot of people are gonna say, well, we didn't get a running back in that draft. They drafted Mozzie and Schoon. They drafted Deuce Vaughn. It was nobody in that draft that really boosted the team at all. And that's a front office thing. I mean, that's a front office thing. I mean, so year in and year out, when we lost to Green Bay, because of Dan Quinn running a different defensive scheme that he did, for the whole year. I mean, that's a coaching, that's a top thing. You know what I mean? That was a coaching blunder. So it's just like these things that are happening, whatever Jerry and Steven have their hand in, it all always the downfall of the team. And I feel like this year it's the hiring of Eberflus and the trading of Micah. Those are front office things.
Yeah, yeah. And I tell you, I think what you have too is Michael Parsons. What he did, okay? So to me, at defensive end right now, you just got Jags, right? I think you just
Mhm.
got guys that are, average guys, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not getting in much pressure with the front four. But I think when you have Michael Parsons on one end, for one thing, he's talented. He knows how to get after the quarterback. He can give you pressures. He can give you all those things. What that does do is that it allows that backside, the opposite side of him, to get less attention. And so now we're kind of causing a little bit of havoc in the backfield. You don't have that outstanding that's why I've been so Max Crosby. I've been saying that for about 3 weeks now, because you don't have that guy that can just get the pressure on his own. Like, no, I am that guy, and I can go in and get the pressure. And what that ends up doing, and I'm going to give Eberflus this out, and it's not an out, but just give him this his side. Like I gave y'all an example before, man. You can't trade Steph Curry at the start of the season, then in the middle of the season talk about, man, why we don't have as many 3 pointers as we used to. Well, you traded Steph Curry. What do you think was going to happen? And so the thing is that when you trade, even Flus didn't come in here with a mind of Michael Parsons wasn't going to be here. He came in with a mind that he was going to be here.
Mhm.
And so some things that you have to do to try to get pressure, man, you're leaving yourself vulnerable in other areas. So I'm not giving Eberflus an out. I think it's okay. So let me tell you, I got my theory because I used to coach my son in youth football, and this is a long stretch, but y'all get it because the concept is kind of the same. I was a defense coordinator. When I went to talk to the offense coordinator, I said, "Hey, man, look." I said, "Man, we got all these guys. I mean, because we had a lot of guys go to college. The team was really good,
Mhm.
and so I said, "Hey, man, shoot, why?" I said, "Man, why your playbook so big?" I said, "Man, all we got to do is have like 5 plays. We got the best players in the league. We got like our 3 backs are the best 3 backs in the league. Like, so all you got to do is sweep, white, sweep, go up the middle." He said, "Man, look," he said, "just because I got the best players, that don't mean that I'm going to coach less. Like my coaching, just because of the talents here, my coaching don't change. No, we got 35 or 40 plays. These players got to know all the plays." And what he was saying was the talent. Just because I got a lot of talent, that don't mean my coaching should go down, right? That don't mean I go get cheap coaching or other way. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is both of them, they're independent of each other, but they do come together. So you should get the best players and the best coaching, and then bring them together, and then that's what you got. Guess what? We got an example of that on offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you see what it's doing. You can do the
Yeah.
same thing on defense, man. You can get better players, and you can also get better coaching, right? And then when
Mhm.
you got both of those things, now it's going to elevate. It's going to multiply. But right now, to me, we don't have the players and we don't have the coach.
Yeah.
And that's on the front office. And let me just say this about Eberflus, and I said it on our OG show. Okay, at the end of the year, if we're ranked, we're 32 now. We're gonna be 32 after today. If we are the 24th ranked defense or the 20th, I'll give him his credit. But and here's a problem that I have with him. Obviously, I think he's a coach that no other team wanted. He brought 3 of his assistants from the Bears, a losing organization. And so here's the problem I have, guys. Okay, when he went to play the team that fired him, his game plan was just it was ridiculously bad. And they talked to him that week about the Bears. He didn't really say a lot. He was real nonchalant. That's the way the team played. Sometimes the team takes on the personality of the coach. So he went to
Yeah,
Chicago. I don't, there's no way you go and play the team that fired you with that kind of game plan. Then the following week, we got an emotional game against the Packers. Micah's is coming into town. Your defense gives up 40 points, just nonchalant. And then Rico Dow gave you bulletin board material last week. So B Bird and Jules, the thing that should not have happened today, there's no that Rico Dow should have been able to run for 200 yards. You knew coming into the game, he made some comments. He used to play here. So every time there's an emotional game that's coming up, our defense is flat. They take the personality of the coach. That's a problem. So it's
I
Yeah.
it's 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 all of the above.
it's like these guys are not like it's like they're not real Cowboys. Like they don't have that dog mentality like Dak and CD and George Pickens and them, Ferguson them. You feel like I feel like the offense was more like nah, Rico ain't about that life, and they don't even play against him. They were just like nah, we gonna handle that. The same thing with Micah. Dak and them was just like we ain't really stunting Mike and them like that. We gonna do what we gonna do. We gonna Mike and them can't stop what we got going on. It's like Dak and GP, and that's how they play. But it's like the defense. It's just like they just like on another planet. And then I was gonna say I forgot what I was finna say.
But
Uh,
let me tell you something, Jules. It's interesting you would say that because you're absolutely right. So if you heard this before, I have to say I don't like to take credit, but I will take some credit for this. I gave them the name of the corporate Cowboys, and some other people picked that up
mhm.
because it's a corporate. They're corporate, right? Corporate can't be passionate. They're never passionate about anything. The corporation, you just a cog in the corporation. You get your check every 2 weeks, and then you go about your business, and then go do anything from that. That's what this team is. And I can tell you this, and Cowboy Joe, you may remember this too. We were in that period before Jimmy Johnson. The guys just going through the motions and coming to get their paychecks. And so
Mhm.
what happened was, Michael Irvin got drafted before Jimmy came here. And so
Hmm.
when Jimmy came, Mike gave him a list of people that just here picking up a paycheck and got those guys out of there. Jimmy ushered in a whole new culture. And what it was is for the first time, I felt like we were the hunters
Mhm.
Hmm.
and not the prey. But I think after Jimmy left, this thing kind of turned around, and we never. I think with Bill Parcells, we kind of
Bill.
did that a little bit too.
Yeah.
But we every game we go into now, we still the hunted. We rarely become the hunter. And to be the hunter, you can't let Rico Dowd say buckle up, right? You can't
No.
let Michael Parsons come into your house and do. You can't let. They take nothing personal because it's all corporate. You get what I'm saying? It's all like, oh no, we're just gonna go in and play a good game. No, this still is a passionate sport, man. This is a physical contact type sports. But when you corporate, what corporations make? They make business decisions, and we
Mhm.
make business decisions on the field too, because we don't even look like a physical football team, man. We look like
See,
they just they. I don't know how many runs Rico had of 8 or 9 yards on first down, man, and then
everyone.
it was crazy. I told my wife, I said, baby, I said, I can't remember a defense this bad. Like this defense is, they're trying to break the record of 2020. I think historical
Mike
defense, man.
Nolan. Yeah.
Might know.
Yeah,
It's like to me. It's like to me. I didn't mean to interrupt you. To me, it's
yeah,
just
go ahead.
like Clayton Adams, Shotty. They're the ones that's like taking it like personal. Like they're the ones that like, and it's kind of like he Shotty. This is first time being a head coach. It's like Shotty like Micah coming in here, Clayton Adams like we gonna smack him every single
But
play. We
but
putting 2 or 3
yeah.
people on him.
But Jules, where I push back on that is Shoddy, Connor Riley, and Clayton Adams. They just have a good scheme. They're good coaches.
But they
That
do
so
things like they do things like Justin Fields. They like we're not letting this guy do it. We're keeping him in the pocket. We not we
I
it's
know
just like
that's
that.
but yeah, that's the defense. So the coaches on the offensive side of the ball, okay, they are coaches. If Clayton Adams becomes free at the end of the season, it's going to be dozens of teams that want him. He's a good coach. Connor Riley the same. Shoddy, surprisingly, is doing a good job. On the defensive side, you got two things. B-Bird, you don't have talent, and the scheme is not good. It's just not.
That's
I, I,
yeah,
And
that's it.
and I would say this. So I want to hear. I want you to hear what you said, Cowboy Joe. You said that you said Shotty is doing a good job, right?
Hmm.
hmm
Okay. See, that's the issue right there. Because let me tell you why. Shotty's job is offense and defense.
yep.
So watch this. I want y'all to think about this. Eberflus defense coordinator, Shotty offense coordinator, Jerry Jones head coach. Think about
Yeah.
the structure. That's how it is, right? We give
Yeah.
all the blame to Eberflus, and then we give all the credit to Shotty because of his offense. But theoretically, if we really look at him like a head coach, then we say, no, man, your defense sucks.
Hmm.
Or he can go over there and be like, well, my offense, no. Dude, you are the head coach. Or are you the head coach?
But with
Because
Jerry
somebody,
and Steven, can it does he have the authority? It's like and here's the thing, they've done this too, guys. We've seen this movie before. Okay, it was Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett. Okay,
yep.
then it was McCarthy, Kellen Moore.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerry and Steven, they're up to their old tricks. So Bieber, I agree with you. And we're probably gonna now what we're gonna see this week and next week is gonna be critical for us to really discover what's happening here. We're gonna see if Shotty has the authority because there needs to be some things changed on defense. Does he have the authority to make the changes?
Well, even Flukes was saying they was. I listened to the Boss Cowboy and their wrap up show, and they were saying, man, even Flukes should be having Dono out there and all this other stuff. Let me tell y'all something, man. Somebody going to convince me that coaches have the authority to swap out high paid players for low paid players. I just don't think
Yep.
they have that. I don't think they have that ability, man. I just don't.
Yep.
I don't think that they call. I think what happens is you say, hey, man, look, we want to play, somebody else instead of Dono. And then they say, hey, man, look, hey, you sure we don't want to go with Donald? We paying him and,
Yep.
he going to come. They influenced him, not just say the Joneses or Steven or Jerry don't just pound their hand on the desk, but I think they put their thumb on the scale to get who they want out there, man. That's
Well,
what I
I,
think. I mean,
well, I can
why
promise you,
would
like,
Zeke
yeah.
go?
No, I could promise you, like, I remember that one year, like the year that CD got paid, Stephen Jones came out and flat out said, he said, no, he said, no, we're paying him. He gonna be getting the ball out of the backfield. He gonna be getting the ball all
Yeah,
game because
yeah,
he's getting the contract. We're paying. He gonna be playing all game. He gonna be playing out the backfield. He gonna be doing all of that. And we was just
yeah.
like,
But and
what does that
guys,
have to do with
but
anything?
and guys, that's the problem. Okay,
That
the
is.
49ers, the Eagles, the Chiefs. I'm gonna just the broken record. Those franchises that have had success the last 30 years, Detroit is doing it now. Those franchises, what they do is they don't really care what your contract is. We've seen it happen with other franchises, but that's what this front office. That's their calling card, and we gonna have to do a show about the Cowboy culture, B Bird,
Yeah,
and we go round and round and round about the culture of the Cowboys. The culture of the Dallas Cowboys is Steven and Jerry Jones. That's the
absolutely.
culture. It ain't the
That's the culture.
players, it ain't the coaches, it's them. And
That's the
so
way they want it.
that's the problem. And they pay Donovan Wilson and say, well, you got a plan. No, that's not what other franchises do. So we
These guys are like jokes, man. Like you know how like they say like we are like the hunt, like we're the hunted. We're the hunted because of them. It's kind of like you know what I'm saying. When other teams look at us, they be like, just think about other front offices. Think about how Detroit front office or Philadelphia front office look at our front office. They be like, man, them guys is a joke. Ain't no way that they supposed to be able to beat us. Come on, man. It's just not. It's just not
and I want to
realistic.
and I want to get you guys input on this, not to cut you off, but that's just one of the problems. The other problem, B Bird, we have a reputation of being a good drafting team. We're not. We're just kind of like
We
average, and
not.
some years we're really bad drafting. But
Yeah,
the media, a lot of people, even content creators, I disagree
yeah,
with. They have this reputation that they're like great drafting. So when you have a front office being the way that they are, and then you're combining that with bad drafts, that is a recipe for disaster. You're
And
not
then
gonna
look,
absolutely.
be.
Let me expound on that a little bit too. So you're absolutely right because all we gotta do is point to the Mozzie draft and the Schoonmaker draft.
yep.
But let's talk about this. And I think you were saying it, but I wanted to say it out loud. When you don't dabble in free agency, and I'm talking about top 20 free agents, then drafting becomes more of a importance to you.
You have no
So
room for error.
when you miss on it, it's damn near catastrophic, man. It
Yeah, and
is.
it's kind of like like I got two things to say about that. It's just like every other team in the NFL, they picking apples and oranges, and they using all the trees to get success. They use the draft, they use free agency, they use undrafted free agents, they use everything, and they do good at all of them. They draft good players, they sign good undrafted free agents, they sign good free agents top 20. The Cowboys only picking from one tree and they
Yeah.
missing half the time they pick. And then another
Yeah.
thing, this don't go together. You can't be a draft and develop team, draft poorly half the time, and then have top players at the position. It doesn't work that way. Just think
Yeah.
about it. If they were a draft and develop team and all of their draft picks were good draft picks, they would not be able to pay everybody. So it's just like they're banking on drafting bad. It's just like
Yeah.
how it's just like you can't pay Mike. Just think about if they would have hit on Mozzie, Schoonmaker, so and so and
Yeah.
so and so, so and so and so and so. How you gonna pay all these guys?
That's what I'm saying. That's right. And so, but I wanted to talk about something Joe said. I want to kind of give y'all a little story. So about the culture and who's the head and who's the face of the organization, who's the power structure. You almost have to empower your coach. Like you got to step out the way and let your coach be the guy. You can't be looming over the franchise because as you loom, so let me give you a story. So I stay down here in the Galveston County area, and I'm from Galveston too, man. Just to let y'all know. I don't know if I ever told y'all that.
Yeah, I
So
know we know that.
my dad stayed in Galveston, and I stayed on the mainland. But after Ike, my dad had to get a lot of repairs done to his house. Now my dad has always been. He's passed away in 15, but he's always been a pillar in our family and church and everything too. So my dad called me up and said, "Hey man, me and my stepmom, me and my wife." He said, "Me and my wife might have to come in there and stay with y'all for a few months. They're gonna redo our house." I said, "Okay, well, Dad, come on over." Now I said that, but I understood. I said, "Man, I wonder how this is gonna work out because my dad is my dad. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
how's this structure? I'm the man of this house, though. How's this gonna work?"
right.
And so he came over, and everything went really smooth, man. And so my dad, me and him just had a conversation later. I said, "Dad, I kind of was a little concerned about how it was going to work because my kids look at me as the man of the house. I know you was coming over, but I didn't know if you." He said, "No, man." He said, "I was never going to step on your overstep my authority." He said, "But this is your house, son." He said, "Let me tell you something. As long as you ain't doing nothing to your kids that's just abusive or anything like that, I ain't gonna say nothing." And he didn't, man. He's just an asset to us. And he kind of stayed out the way and this other kind of thing. And it was just something that showed me that sometimes you have to step back. You got to understand who you are and what you bring to the table. And to allow somebody else to rise in that area, you have to step back a little bit and let them do it, right? And that's what the Joneses haven't done. That's why Jerry, after this post game and the post game interviews after the deal, the shows on the radio when he breaking on who's playing and who's not. What he's doing is that's as my dad would come to my house and say, "Hey son, you need to turn these TVs off at 9 o'clock. Hey son, you need to do this. Hey son, you need to do that." You see what I'm saying? Now he's getting to that role of power. Now we're gonna have an issue. And so my kids will be looking like, "Shoot, who should I go to here? Go to Papa or go to my daddy? I don't know who running this." But my dad didn't do that. He stepped out the way. And see, you get now. I just want to give you that kind of analogy, man, just to show you just how sometimes people of power got to step back and let other people move into that, and then understand. No, I need to support that person that's there because I need to step out the way. And
I'll
that's
give
what
you
Jerry. Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect analogy that goes perfect with what you're saying and with the Cowboys. On a documentary, on a Barry Switzer episode, they was talking about how Barry Switzer was talking about how Jerry, when he hired Barry Switzer, how Jerry had made it a thing to where the players was calling him coach. The players was calling Jerry Jones coach. And he was walking around. They said that like Jerry was walking around like at practice with a shirt on, with his
Yeah.
coach's shirt on and his shorts on and a whistle, and having all the players address him as Coach Jones and all of this. It's just like, bro, what are you talking about? I remember though, growing up, I remember it was a thing to where like Jerry would just pop up on the sideline when the team started losing. Jerry just
I
come
remember
down
that.
on the
I remember
sideline
that.
in a trench coat, and it's like everybody like, oh my God, like here he go. And it's just like, where is that Jerry at? To where it's just like I'm coming down here as like an authority figure, like y'all messing up, and somebody about to lose their job. I
But you
want,
don't need that. You don't need
yeah,
that. You
yeah,
can't have that. And see, when you're doing that, you usurping your coach's authority, right?
yeah,
Your coach has to be the guy. And Cowboy Joe will tell you this: when we were good, Jimmy was the guy.
yeah.
Remember, Jerry was trying to get the front office straight, trying to get the finances straight, so he couldn't touch anything. But once he got those things straight, man, then he came down and started meddling, and we have not been the same since. and he's
Yeah.
meddled the whole time. So you can't even if positive things come on with Jerry coming to the sideline, it can't be the way it happened. It has to go through your coach. It has to go through your coach, and he has to empower his coach. Well, how you do that? By shutting up, letting your coach make. Look, you should have the training camp, the first day of training camp speech, and that's all they should know about you. That's all they should see of you. You should go back to doing your other business. He don't have no other business. That's his business, man, and that's why he stays messing with it.
I think when Parcells came in, this was the only time that he really veered off course. During the Parcells era, it was
I
it was
apologize, y'all. We kind of having some technical issues. Let's just give it a second and see
I
if we
can,
can get. Oh, my bad.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Jules, you need to close the door. Well, that's my daughter's dog barking. And we gonna go ahead and wrap up here. But no, during the Parcells era, Jerry had to take a little bit of a back seat, and it was well documented that he was the most miserable during the
Yes,
Parcells era. He didn't,
yes,
he wasn't able to do what he normally does. Ultimately, that's why Parcells went ahead and stepped aside, and that I think it was the 2017, the team that went 13-3. Wade
yep,
Phillips was the coach.
yep,
If Parcells had stayed one more year, if Jerry had learned something, that 13-3 team that Wade Phillips had, I still say today, if Parcells had been the coach of that team,
yep,
they don't lose to the Giants in the first round. Now, one
yep,
big thing that happened in that game that people don't talk about, T.O. had hurt his ankle, but that being said, that
yep,
was Parcells' team. And
yep. Tio
if
had
he
hurt
had
his ankle
stayed one more year,
before that. He
yeah,
had hurt his,
he hurt it against Carolina, matter of fact.
yeah, sure
But
did.
no, but if Jerry had just stayed to the side, just one more year, Parcells takes that team, I believe, to the NFC Championship team. That was his team.
So let me tell y'all, Jules, this is a question for you. This is a little trivia. So we've only hired one alpha coach since Jimmy Johnson, and that's Bill Parcells. Do you know what the motivation to hire Parcells was?
To build a stadium.
Absolutely. He knew I don't know, Cowboy Joe or Jules, I don't know if y'all know this. You know it's a cell phone video of him admitting to that, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
saw?
I
Yeah.
would. I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't
No,
be
he's in a
surprised.
bar and just a random guy said,
Oh
"Hey,
yeah. I seen that.
you seen it? Yeah, people don't
Mhm.
know that, man. It's actually out there. It's like a flip phone or something. But
Yeah,
that's
he had it like in his pocket.
yeah. And so when you look at coaches that he's hired, he's always hired these subservient coaches that are just happy to have a job. And so but you see what happened when you get Clayton Adams. You had to go after guys, right? And so those are the kind of guys that's going to get you over the hump. Those are the kind of coaches, but you got to go after those guys. And I'm
Yeah.
going to ask y'all a question, man. I'm sorry to get on this because it's just on my mind. What do y'all think about the statement that he said about trades, like waiting on his phone to ring? That irked me, man.
Well, he said that, and that irked a lot of players. That irked a lot of people because they asked him about that last week on the on 105.3. They asked him on the fan. They was just like, so being that this team is Dak is playing as good as they're playing, and Dak is playing as good as he's playing, and the offense is looking as good as it's looking. Don't you think that maybe this time around you should be the person picking up your phone instead of waiting on your phone to ring? And what he said was, he said, absolutely. He said, what he's waiting on, he said, what you do is you wait till you get to like the trade deadline and you look at the teams that are like one and whatever, winless or whatever, and then you start seeing if it's areas that benefit your team. So, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But
he said that, but we got this, I don't know if he gonna,
but
act
but
on that.
here's the problem, guys. And Joe, let's go ahead and wrap. And Bieber, we may just try to do a show in the middle of the week. I'll see if you're available,
Yeah, no
and we
problem,
can
man.
we
You
can
just let me
we can
know.
we can finish talking about this. But here's the problem with them as well. They are not good at trading. They never have been. They made one good trade. Jimmy made it. So that's the other thing. They don't do a good job with trading, and people don't acknowledge that. They get fleeced every time. So him talking about he waiting on the phone to ring, it's like, sir, it doesn't really matter if the phone rings or not. You just don't do a good job of trading. You get fleeced a lot. So you don't. I don't think you want him trading because he just doesn't do a good job with it. And I said this before, B Bird. The trade that you want for the edge from the Raiders, his name escapes me. What is his name?
Max
Uh,
Crosby.
Max Crosby. Here's what's going to happen. Max Crosby will get traded to the Eagles or the 49ers. And when we see the trade, we're going to say that the Raiders got fleeced. The 49ers or the Eagles cleaned their clock. If they trade Max Crosby to Dallas, it's going to be the opposite. They're going to say that Dallas got their clock clean because they don't do a good job with trading.
Well, let me say this. I'm push back on you a little bit because I thought they did good with Amari.
They traded Amari for a fifth.
No, I'm saying getting him.
Oh,
Oh
getting
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah,
But then they
and
traded
Hankins
him
too.
for a fifth. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no. Now the trade for a fifth also had to do with taking on a contract, right? Like if you got
Yeah.
a high
Yeah.
contract, you're not going to get a higher draft pick for that. But I'm saying this: San Francisco is already rumored to be looking at Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby right now.
And
Th-
Fred Warner is out for the season, y'all.
yeah, I
Yes.
saw that too. And so the thing about it is, if you're waiting on somebody to call you, but San Francisco GM is calling people, that don't add up for you. See, nobody else is playing by your rules.
The
Nobody else is
Eagles
playing
would
the
the,
waiting
the
game.
Eagles will get Crosby.
Eagles, yeah, definitely, man. If they feel a need for a pass rush, which they don't really have any outstanding pass rush. They got good DTs. I can see them making a move on it. And the thing about it is, man, when you have hey, this is my theme. When you have a GM that has to win and keep his job, you got a little bit of desperation there, and desperation
Yeah.
makes moves, man. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
in Dallas, we don't have that, man. Those guys got their jobs and they're secure with themselves. That's why they can, hey, we'll just sit back and wait because they think what it is that if they wait on the phone to ring, now they want to win the deal. It ain't about winning the deal, it's about getting the player, man.
Yeah.
If you're gonna
Yeah.
make a difference on your team, it's about getting the players. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm on that forget them pick things too, man. For real.
Yeah.
We don't. What we're gonna do with 4 draft picks? We don't want to sign Michael Parsons after the first contract anyway. If
Well,
we hit,
especially when you don't draft good. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just they gonna blow the picks. So B Bird, go ahead and just talk about your channel and let people know how to find you.
Yeah, it's B dot Bird Cowboys. Y'all can find me on Twitter and on YouTube, man. Y'all can check me out. I'm coming on here today, man. I'm glad these guys let me on, man, to vent a little bit. The game was frustrating today. It's kind of therapeutic for me. So if y'all come follow me on there, man, like, share, and subscribe if y'all want. Appreciate it. But anyway, hey, we got to get ready for Washington next week, man. These are games I think this and Chicago game I think we kind of let slip through. I counted it as wins earlier in the year, but it got to be played on the field. And right now, man, we're just not playing up to par. But that's it for me,
Yeah.
bro.
All right, man.
All right.
Appreciate it. Like I said, we might touch base with you in the middle of the week here. And Jules, just tell them about our channel, how they find us.
Yeah, you can just simply type in FASCAST on YouTube. That's Fastcast. It stands for Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk. I also put Bieber's channel on the show right up under, right down there scrolling. Well, it's not scrolling, it's just down there. It says follow Bieber's channel and it gives you the link. But on our channel, you just type in Fastcast and you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow my dad on Twitter at Cowboy Joe 64 on Twitter. And then you can follow our Facebook and our YouTube. And you can also follow us on TikTok as well. You just type in Fastcast, FASCAST. You don't have to put the periods, just FASCAST. And that's our TikTok, that's our YouTube, that's our Facebook. And then, like I said, my dad is Cowboy Joe 64 on Twitter. And we'll, like my dad said, we'll probably touch base and come back with another show during the week. We got to get ready for Washington, and this really is a must-win game now at this point. You got to win this game. If you lose this game, it's going to be rough for you. So,
So
Hey, one thing before you go. If we lose this next game, we might be sellers, not buyers.
yeah,
and,
you lose
and I'm
this
a
game.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna leave with this. This is a playoff game, but does Eberflus understand that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Does he understand that? Because Dan Quinn and them are going to try to put up 55,000 points on
Oh
us.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, B-Bear, we appreciate it, man. We'll chat offline later this
Hey,
week.
y'all want to do something in the middle of the week? Y'all let me know, man. Just let me know, and I'll be here.
For
Okay,
sure.
we'll do. All right, take
Y'all
care.
have a good one.